The moment I caught sight of the inflatable unicorn bobbing on my pool, I knew something wasn't quite right. I do not possess a unicorn float. Or did I sanction a barbecue for lawn chairs? Or what seemed like a full-fledged family reunion on my lawn? I remained outside of my own gate, locked out, looking at a laminated board that read HOA private event. No resident access, no access to my own pool. I assumed it was a prank, maybe a little spy camera stunt. But then I saw her, Lydia Harper, reclining like royalty in my deck chair, sipping a neon-colored drink with a paper umbrella, and her grandkids dove into the deep inn like they owned. This was not a joke. This was serious. It started 2 weeks ago with just a plain beige umbrella I'd put up to shade my wife's elderly reading nook by the pool. Nothing to see here, just utilitarian. I'd bought the HOA's 97-page rule book. No infractions, but the next day an email from Lydia landed in my inbox citing it as an unapproved visual blight that ruined the beauty of the neighborhood. I ignored it, writing it off as her typical clipboard-wielding patrols. Big mistake now, here I was, grasping the locked gator lock, not mine, when a flyer suspiciously official informed me my pool taken over for an HOA function because of my uncooperative conduct. No signatures, no board vote, just Lydia's smug digital signature. Her son tossed a beach ball, her cousin spread out towels on my front lawn, and my dog. Rusty yelped frantically from the porch. I knocked on the gate. Lydia didn't even blink, just lifted her glass in a sarcastic toast when I shouted out. She feigned shock. "Oh, James, didn't you get the memo? You're suspended from pool access for noncompliance." Suspended from my own pool? I inquired to learn what bylaw necessitated it. She waved a paper from her beach tote as a scepter, demanding I was under investigation for the umbrella uneven lawn and illegal furniture there since 10 years standard shift. "James," she sneered. She explained the HOA board had voted in unison to have her family reunion by the community water feature while my case was under consideration. I laughed skeptically. Community water feature? I built that pool myself with my own funds on my own lot. She insisted my property's proximity to HOA green space granted her interpretive jurisdiction. I asked what law school she flunked to dream that up, the kind that doesn't get questioned. She shot back. Then two teens swept past yelling about a soda fridge falling through a side gate. Lydia propped open with a brick, my jaw clenched. I called the HOA president, Tom, but got voicemail. Two other board members. "Nothing." Lydia's laugh echoed like a taunt. She'd planned this, knowing I'd be away for the weekend, watching me fill my truck, timing her takeover perfectly. My backyard, a carnival, coolers, towels, juice boxes, jamming the skimmer. I didn't yell. I turned, walked in, and noticed something on my desk. The original HOA charter I'd assisted in creating 20 years prior, concealed with property maps and a forgotten clause. My land, due to its ancient agricultural designation, was optional for HOA membership. I joined for harmony, but never signed the final agreement ceding control. I'd laughed with the county clerk, then joking about my escape hatch. Now it was my weapon. Lydia hadn't thrown a party. She'd lit a match in a forest she didn't own, and I was holding the gasoline. The next morning I brewed coffee and pored over the charter paragraph, 9 subsection C in my handwriting, confirmed my lot was outside the HOA's legal boundary. I'd followed rules voluntarily, but no binding agreement awarded them control over my property. I made duplicate surveys and signed papers, a 10-year-old letter conceding my non-binding status at the county clerk's office. A tranquil 20 minutes later, I held a certified document confirming my pool and half-acre to myself alone, liberated from HOA control. Adrenaline blended with serenity as I left. This was not about domination. It was about ending the tyranny of petty reign by Lydia. That wasn't merely for me, but for all neighbors. She'd bullied regarding fence heights or mailbox colors. I emailed the board, CCing Lydia, attaching the docs. I explained my pool was private property, asked them to remove the locks within 24 hours, and threatened legal action. 10 minutes later, Lydia penned, "No apology, just venom. Your suspension from community features is extended. Due to escalating tensions, stay away from the gate during HOA events for safety. No board meeting, no vote. Tom was fishing." Another member on recovery from surgery. She was bluffing on arrogance to win. I called my old army buddy Nate. now a real estate lawyer who loved shredding HOA cases. He laughed at my files. This is a slam dunk, James. We sent a trespassing notice to the HOA and a county health complaint. Lydia's unauthorized parties did not have safety plans with children unsupervised around alcohol. I had photos, trash. Minors, chaos. Then I got hands-on. I put up weatherproof cameras, one on the gate, one on the deck, catching ever. Splash every trespass. I replaced the gate hinge with a version with a removable pin, so I'd never be locked out again for kicks. I fiddled with a pool dye system I'd built years ago for leak detection. Safe, non-toxic UV reactive dye that would make swimmers glow neon under sunlight. Not toxic, just humiliating. I set it up at dawn, piping it into the pool's return jet. The next time Lydia's crew swam, they'd leave glowing like radioactive popsicles at noon. Her family came back treating my yard like a resort. Teens blasted loud music. Adults relaxed on my hand-built grill, flipping burgers as if it were theirs. Cameras rolled kids almost drowning a solar light. Broken adults taunting me as a bitter loner. Too selfish to share, Lydia laughed, telling me I was counting grass blades instead of living. I stayed calm, saving footage with timestamps. Friday's heat brought them back. Lydia under a sun hat sprayed with champagne. 20 minutes later, they dipped into the dye, kicked in, her knees screamed skin, glinting green chaos erupted. Children stared at neon limbs. Lydia twirled hands, glowing. I went outside, sipping lemonade, pretending innocence. She demanded to know what had happened. I explained it was an FDA-approved filter test. She accused me of poisoning them. I listed the DY's FDA approval, then showed her that my cameras had caught her breaking and entering now, under a county investigation. That moment, the sheriff arrived, died, tipped him off days prior to that. He glanced at Lydia's neon arms, eyebrows furrowed, and read my documents. Leave the property, he told her, taking a report. She stormed off neon and cursing her crew behind. The sheriff chuckled. You went all out, huh? I smiled. I like making points. Silence regained my yard. Rusty sniffed by the pool, confused. I knew Lydia wasn't done. Entitled owners never surrender, but I was ready. Saturday was subdued. But at noon my phone erupted. A neighbor, Ellen, sent an email linked to Lydia's Facebook status in the HOA group Health Hazard at Shared Pool, with filtered photo of her niece's beaming arms accusing me of illegal chemicals in a public pool. She put up an emergency board meeting Sunday to strip my rights. I printed her post, her contradictory emails, and my deed. I edited a 22-minute video of antic passing damage to her crews. Negligence, the meltdown at the HOA Neon Clubhouse. Lydia walked in, heels a scarf covering her waning glow. Her allies twitched as the board came by. She vented safety ranting on rashes and urgent care visits. I let her finish, then handed each member a packet deed. Emails, flyers, footage. I indicated the timeline created. Proven the pool wasn't the HOA's property and played the video. Silence was there. Lydia tried to interrupt, but Tom, fresh from fishing, shushed her. The board saw her lies unravel. I told her I'd sue for further trespassing and asked for my statement to be put on record. Tom sighed. This was never an HOA pool. He asked Lydia to talk. She ranted about grudges, but the board voted unanimously to demote her from her compliance position, suspend her privileges, and issue her a warning. For abusing authority, outside neighbors approved. Nodding, an elderly couple thanked me for stopping. Lydia's bullying relief hit not victory. My fence had drawn a line, not a fight that night. Rusty and I sat by the pool, clean and peaceful. No floats, no chaos, just tranquility. But I knew Lydia would plot again. Monday, I had installed a 6-foot privacy fence code, compliant with a private property. No HOA access plaque. A biometric lock secured the gate, warning my phone to tampering. The HOA sent voiding all claims on my property and confirming Lydia's expulsion Tuesday. I saw her staring at my fence, arms crossed, silent. She walked away defeated. I laughed, telling her I'd think about it weeks later. I met up with Nate in a diner, signing a lawsuit for trespassing and slander. It wasn't about money. $5,000 for cleanup cameras, distress but duty. The court date came quietly. Lydia, in a dusty blazer, confessed no permission. Days later, a moving truck smashed her house. She left silently, her perfect lawn dying. Whispered neighbors, but the air was lighter. I grilled burgers. Rusty running after shadows as friends laughed around the pool. The fence stood watch. The lock blinked steadily. Lydia thought she could dominate my land with imitation signs. I presented her truth cuts, deeper, resonating louder than any neon glow.